This video is about me trying to build a wizard's tower from scratch, and honestly, I impressed myself, bro. I was not confident going in, but I'm starting to feel better at building. We're doing this all from scratch, so my first idea was to speedrun the game, that way I get an elytra, because I feel like it'd be really cool to build this in a mushroom island. And if you don't know, mushroom islands are super rare, so I was definitely not gonna do this challenge, building project, whatever you wanna call it, without an elytra. After I get some iron from a shipwreck and food, I decided it's time to go down, try to find a lava lake so we can enter the nether. Normal speedrun stuff, but let me tell you, in 120, speedrunning is just so hard. I ran around for 3 to 5 minutes before I found a lava lake underground, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I'm used to entering the nether in like 2 minutes, so this felt so slow. I did get a diamond pick though, which is really nice because it means we can double travel when we get to the nether. And I realized this isn't a normal speedrunning video that I would make. I do a lot of speedrunning, but I've been trying to learn some building stuff, which is the whole point of these kind of videos, and I think it's been really fun. So once I make it to the bastion, I spot a gold block, which is really nice because I can make myself a bit of gold armor. The tricky part with bastions in the newer versions are piglin brutes, so I played more carefully than I normally would. It didn't take too much longer. But the really cool thing about this bastion was getting over a stack of pearls. Oh my gosh, these piglins are fantastic. Over a stack of pearls from a bastion is insane for this version. It was really nice because I could make my way to the fortress. But I knew I'd have to make my portal early because we only have 10 obsidian and I'm gonna be doing a technique called double travel. So I have to have a lot of time to remine this entire nether portal. We're gonna be basically putting it at a closer spot to the stronghold as soon as we do some fancy math and stuff. That's what this is right now. In modern day speedrunning, you'll use a calculator, like pretty much every top runner. We'll use a calculator to take these eye measurements and then predict exactly where the stronghold's gonna be. But since it's the newer version, I figured I'd challenge myself and try to do all of the math and calculating in my head. So I didn't use a calculator for this, just a specific setup, my chunk borders, the F3 screen. And while it's gonna be less accurate than using a calculator because I can't do F3 plus C, it's still pretty dang accurate. And the coolest thing is I feel amazing when I do it. I'm predicting where the stronghold's gonna be without any outside tools. It just, oh my gosh. So I mine the entire portal and go into the nether where my predictions say I should go. The numbers were actually really high, which isn't impossible. It's just super unlikely. So I was a bit nervous I did my math wrong. But I placed down the obsidian and it turns out we were pretty freaking close. The unfortunate thing is I redid some measurements here to see how far away it was. And literally I just read the numbers wrong. I was looking at the angle change between two eyes and it was actually like 6 or 7 degrees of angle change, which is great. But I confused myself and thought it was 1 degree of angle change, so I end up running like hundreds of blocks past the stronghold and just getting so confused because my math was literally like 50 blocks off of the stronghold. Like, here's what I mean. I just finished the video. This is my portal. This is where my prediction of the stronghold is. The stronghold is right here, but you know what I did? I went to the surface and was like, oh, it's 1,000 blocks this way, and ran off all the way over there. So I wasn't feeling super great, but I did hit the stronghold and looted a library for the paper. This is gonna be super important in a second. The reason I got the paper is because we're gonna go to the outer end islands, hopefully get a rocket, and that way we have a couple firework rockets to get home. I got kind of lucky. There was a ship relatively close by, which was really good because I only had 9 rockets, so I got out of there as soon as I had the elytra. Now, I wasn't sure how long it would take to find a mushroom island, so I figured I'd do some enchanting to try and get a looting 3 book. What? What is this? How is this just here? I cannot believe my spawn had a woodland mansion next to it. But it was actually kind of nice because I'm planning to build out of dark oak and this had a ton of it. So I made sure to get some dark oak and a totem, which was kind of cool. I'm gonna die, aren't I? I mean, I have a totem now, so we're chilling, but wow. Mild tangent, but the Vex here, this is the most annoying experience I've had with Vex. I was like 100 blocks away from that mansion and these dudes just kept following me. But now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, which actually took a lot of extra work off camera, I got Unbreaking 3 on my elytra. So I finally felt safe to fly around, and I flew straight into an ice spikes biome, one of the rarest biomes to exist. But I know you can only get mushroom islands in an ocean, so I decided to fly towards this cold ocean, which I figure probably turns into a deep ocean, and it pays off. Oh my gosh, there's no... Yes! Oh my gosh, there's no way it's this tiny. Bro, wait, this is actually perfect at being this tiny. Dude, this makes me so happy. I feel like this run was going so bad. Are there even any mushrooms here? There's one mushroom. I think Mark is a good name. Mark the mushroom. Okay. Oh, now I actually need to build, don't I? I still don't consider myself a builder, and I was kind of nervous to start, but I figured I'd get a good aerial view to try and figure out how big I want to make this tower. I took stock of my resources, which wasn't that much, but I knew I wanted to build like a rock pillar structure to put like the magician house on top of, which means I need a lot of deep slate. And I'm working on another video right now that led me to this idea, which I think is the coolest way to gather deep slate. Okay. Oh my gosh, it works. This is how I'm getting my deep slate, bro. Oh my gosh, wait, I didn't have my elytra on. This is a TNT duper design that doesn't need coral fans or slime, the two things that make TNT dupers hard to do. I wasn't sure how much faster this was gonna be than mining, so I came up with a strat to like set off one TNT, and then while I'm collecting the blocks from that, set off the next one, do a bit of water bucket clutching. It's a little bit risky, but pretty cool. I'm cutting it so close. Okay, that was too close. That was too close. I would get 40 plus deep slate from every TNT explosion. It was insane. Huge shout out to Big Booty. Sorry, Big Booty 17 for designing this TNT thing. It's like slightly modified, but bro, it's so cool. It took about 5 minutes to get all of this, and if you've ever mined deep slate, this is amazing. Right before I left, I found a geode, which I figured would probably be good for something magical because it has a lot of good purple. Oh gosh. Oh, that's not my food. Whoa, did you hear that? Okay, we have finally started building. And you could probably make a good argument that I'm just procrastinating building because I'm uncomfortable with it. But you know what? It was so much fun, and I do think it's worth it in the long run to just get all these tools. Like killing the Ender Dragon gets you 60 or 70 levels. So nice for getting full enchanted tools. Plus all of the books that you get from the library, you have an instant level 30 enchanting setup. This is probably what I'll do if I keep doing build videos like this. I'll speedrun first to get the tools, and then I'll make the build. Oh, I totally forgot to do this. Lower FOV, we're building. I can't express how useful lowering the FOV is for me. When I speedrun, I have maximum FOV. I'm in Quake Pro because I want to be gathering all the info about the surrounding area. I need to know what's going on. But for building, it puts me in such a good mood to lower it and really focus on the blocks. All I've done so far is outline a circle of how big I want to make the tower. I actually build it a little bit too big, but figure I should probably get some stone as well. I'm not going off of any reference this time, other than what I've seen in the past, but I figure stone is probably going to be useful. Really? I know what I did wrong. So that's the downside of using the TNT duper. But I built it again. It didn't take much time at all. You could probably figure out how to build it by watching this video, honestly. And a few minutes later, I had all the stone I thought I'd need. For being a building video, I have not talked much about building, but the basic idea here is to outline a circle and then sort of make a cone slightly slanting inwards. So I made a quick little build palette because I think gradients are a huge thing to making builds look better in Minecraft. So my idea is we make the bottom of the cone a darker color, and then as it gets towards the top, it makes it lighter. For the most part, I'm spamming blocks, hoping to follow a general shape. I've had a bit of practice doing this in the past with some ice towers I did on an SMP a couple of years ago. Please tell me it looks somewhat good. Oh, that's actually sick, bro. What? Okay, I did not think I was doing that good of a job. I'm being for real. Now that the base was getting finished, I swapped out a couple blocks to be slightly lighter, built a little bit of scaffolding, and continued building. Maybe this looks repetitive in the video, but it felt really nice to just spam blocks. How's it looking? It might be tapering slightly too quick. But other than that, I think it's good. I just need some more resources. One thing I've noticed doing more building is it is very nice to have more resources than you need. I feel it really lets me be wild with placing my blocks. I feel like I don't have to worry about conserving resources because I have so many, which is one of the reasons why I like this TNT duper so much. You know, I guess this is what they do in real life, right? They use dynamite in mines and stuff. It's not like they're using pickaxes. Interesting. Watch this spider. Boom. Band of Arthropods 5. I didn't know at 5. Dude, I destroy spiders. Silverfish, they don't stand a chance against me. If you're curious why I'm putting the dirt underneath the TNT duper, it's just to elevate the TNT a little bit more so that I'm mining more of the walls as well instead of making a straight hole downwards. Back to the building, I had used my 2 darkest colors of deep slate and I was transitioning to the cobbled and tough, which I also got from the TNT duper. How does it look? Ooh, I like that. The main thing I wanted to change was how quickly it was tapering, so I really focused on making taller pillars for this last section of building until finally I flattened it off when I thought it was high enough. All right, that might be high enough. Let's go have a look over here. Honestly, it's a little too narrow, I think. And while I could have made it slightly wider and taller, which might have looked better, I was pretty much out of tough and didn't want to rebuild. Now we're on to the actual house part of the wizard tower. So I planted some more dark oak and got oak from the surrounding forest. I feel like for a long time, the stuff I built was out of the most convenient things to get, like oak planks. And I didn't use oak logs or stripped oak logs much because it was just a pain to get them all. But I think if you want a good build, you need a lot of good materials. So I've started to try and build with more logs, like more stripped stuff. Because it's like, do you expect to be able to make something really cool and that you're proud of out of just oak planks? Maybe, but I think for me and right now, the answer is no. By this point in the recording, I had honestly accumulated a lot of blocks, and my scaffolding to the top was getting higher and higher, which also felt cool. To start off the house, I wanted to put it on 2 really long logs. For some reason, it feels more structural that way instead of plopping the entire house on a stone blob. I also added some diagonal support-looking structures, because if you're putting a house on top of a really thin spire, you're probably gonna need some support, right? Once those 2 things were in place, I added a giant platform of planks, which right now is the most ugly-looking thing on the entire build. But overall, I think we're going in a really good direction. Just like, look at this view. I can't believe I built this. Now, for the cottage itself, that's what I guess I'll call it, a cottage on top of this little platform. I didn't want to make it just square. I think having flat walls is a bad move for building, so I tried to put these support pillars at slightly different depths. And then if you couldn't tell, I really enjoy the mechanics of placing blocks fast, and at least trying to do it fast and efficiently. So I'm using my butterfly clicking, even though maybe I mess up kind of a lot, and maybe it's slower because you're doing it in short bursts rather than a long continuous placement. Now, moving on to the back side of the building, or at least this is what I'm going to call the back, I figured it'd be good to not build a straight up wall, so I added a slight slant to it, which I think I regret in the end, but I did like the move of putting regular oak logs as a separating thing. I was pretty uncertain what to do with the giant plain oak platform originally, but I added a bunch of these regular oak log outshoots. I'm really lost for words here, and I think they look pretty good. That's looking kind of sick, bro. What? How am I doing this? I started making the walls slightly taller because I think a mistake that I've made in the past is making my walls too short, so I made sure to give ample headroom here. Ample. That's such a good word. Makes you feel fancy. Ample. Also, directly below me, you'll see what kind of looks like a dirt and wood enchanting table setup. That's because that's exactly what it is. I'm kind of marking out where I'm going to put the enchanting table because honestly, that's the main thing I'm putting at the top of this tower, an enchanting table. It seems fitting. When walls or sections felt too plain, one thing I did was add a whole bunch of regular oak logs. It changed the color up a bit and worked in almost every situation. Can I make this jump? Oh, no. Back on the top of the building, I kind of mirrored what I have on the bottom with those really long dark oak logs. This was what's going to separate the walls from the roof, or at least that's what it is in my head. I tried to be very careful when getting the slope of the roof here. Like if you mess up the template for building the roof, the whole thing is going to be screwed. So I took a lot of time looking around, and I think it's a fairly basic idea where I start out more horizontal, and then the higher up I get, the taller I make each pillar. I hope that makes sense. Afterwards, I filled in the rest of the roof, making sure to be 1 block lower so you get this cool outline with the logs. I used a lot of dirt for scaffolding. I remember, or maybe I don't remember, maybe my brother told me because he used to watch Good Times with Scar. Point is, Good Times with Scar, a really good builder on the Hermitcraft server, said that dirt is a fantastic scaffolding block, and I have to agree. Dirt, so much better than actual scaffolding. I'll skip through a lot of the roof building because it's pretty repetitive. How are you doing, Mark? Enjoying the view? I'm holding my axe out. That's a little threatening. I think it's looking... Oh my gosh, it's so cool. It's so cool. It's so cool. That's the base layer of it done. It probably isn't going to look good just playing like this. You know, it doesn't even look bad. But I felt I could make the roof look slightly better by adding stairs and slabs on the outer edges, sort of in a pattern where there's less stairs towards the top, and it gives it this cool effect of almost drooping, like a drooping roof. Just a more detailed roof at the end of the day. I think the more interestingness you can add to blank or flat walls, the better it's gonna look. Now on to the interior. I didn't have any master plans for this. Mostly, I just wanted to fill in the blank spaces, but I also decided to add some pillars inside of the roof instead of adding like a custom entirely inside. I just added some pillars, and I think it makes it look pretty good. Dang, this is looking cool. The next thing I did was seal the rock to the rest of the house. It would probably look weird with a whole bunch of holes. And that was pretty much it for the house. The only other thing I want to add is some sort of magicness with glass. I remember when I finished the house, I thought to myself, if the glass stuff doesn't look good, and I saved a backup, I'll just use the backup for the video and I just won't show this, because I really felt like I was gonna ruin the build by trying to add magical swirls. That's the sort of idea here. We're gonna make stained glass and then add mystical swirls. So to get the shape of these mystical swirls, I figured I'd do it in dirt first. That way I have a space to place a lot of the glass on top of, and glass just takes a lot longer to mine. So if I mess up, dirt is gonna be a lot easier to change. I added 2 swirls going in the same direction. They just started on either side of the house. And I think it's a pretty good shape. I just freehanded it mostly, speed bridging. Now here's where the risky stuff comes in. I decided to place some amethyst as sort of the center of this mystical stuff, since it's the only opaque block, and then I'd add glass around it, and I'd try to be sort of splotchy along my dirt scaffolding. Maybe it seems like I did more than that, but that was pretty much the basic idea. Just place stuff on top of the dirt in splotchy patterns, whatever feels nice. And this is what the final result looks like. I think it looks so good on a mushroom island, especially a small mushroom island surrounded by water. So picturesque. And the magical stuff looked so better than I thought it would. I was worried they were gonna be too thin strands of magical stuff and you wouldn't be able to see it well, but it stands out so well in the dark. That's pretty much it for the video. If you have an idea of what I could do next, please leave it down below. I'll probably do a few more of these. I don't know. I spent a total of 3, maybe 4 hours on this world, so I'm not gonna be doing them every single day. I really wanna try an experimental build though. So if you have a unique idea, maybe in a cool biome, let me know with a comment down below. And if you like a comment, you should like it so that I see it more. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.